Why I love Regent Park and why did I even choose Regent Park at first. So we've been in the community, my wife and I, for 7 years, going 8. And we originally chose Regent Park because I'll say it was phase 2 of the revitalization. And we kind of walked in the neighborhood. We wanted to be close to downtown for her work. We didn't have to travel that far. And we did find a nice place in St. Clair, but we didn't get it. So I was like, Regent Park it is, right? And I was like, don't worry, trust me, you're gonna love Regent Park because it's going through this revitalization and we're gonna be able to see everything come down and go back up. And she's like, I don't wanna see that. I want somewhere, that's really nice. And I was like, don't worry, you will be part of rejoining a great community. And I remember we moved in and I invited my parents over and I never found out how they originally met. And when we had them over, I found out that my parents actually met here in Regent Park back in '72 on Oak Street, just right here, right? And they met in the elevator of their building, 1972, and they got married. And my dad's Nigerian, my mom's Bayesian from Barbados, and they basically got married and moved to Nigeria and started this whole family. That's where I was born, but original roots in Canada. I had no idea that we were continuing the story of how my parents, really first met. So I added to the whole idea, the whole feeling of being in this community, and said, we actually are meant to be in Regent Park. And my creative journey started here because prior to moving in, I wasn't painting. I was working in corporate. So my discovering my talent happened within being part of this community. And after I started painting and things were going well, I literally walked across the street from One Park Place to Daniel Spectrum. I made a connection there, and that's what propelled my career with my business relationship with Daniels Corp, with my relationship with Artscape. I now actually even sit on the board at Artscape, which is quite amazing. And being able to give back and be part of the community is huge and essential. And why do I stay in Regent Park? Why not? If you look at this community, I've seen buildings come down, I've seen them come up, I've seen residents that were long-time residents of Regent Park live and come back and be reintroduced back into the community, meet new people, and my other neighbors and wonderful people. I've built great relationships, great friendships with people over this period of time. And the neighborhood is just buzzing. Like, you can walk during the summertime and there's just the aquatic center, best in the city. I don't care what anybody says, right? And then you have places like Le Beau, where there's constantly a lineup every single weekend. Remember, friends were saying, wait, what is that over there? They're giving out vaccines. And I was like, no, it's a croissant for you. Like, you can go get your croissants over there. That's an amazing place. And there's all these different businesses and places that you need in the community. They're all around you. You want to exercise, this amazing track and field and football field over there. So, and I'm a physical person. I need to get out, right? And during COVID, it's been hard with the closure of gyms, whether in the building or whether in your external gym. So that field has made it made it for us, and for me specifically, to go out there and do some exercise, or just even walk. Just do a couple of laps in the evening around the track, just to clear your mind. Those are the little things you need. So that's one thing I love about the community is all of that. The people, the spaces, and that's just the beginning, because there's more to come. So when we were talking about whether or not we wanted to move or get a property outside of the city, or where I'm going to get my studio, I was like, if I can get a studio within Regent Park, I'm not leaving, right? And this space was something that the Daniels initiative that we had been talking about and working on for a couple of years, and eventually it's now come to fruition. I was like, listen, there's no way I'm living in Regent Park. I'm staying within it because this allows me to continue that aspect of beautifying the neighborhood and pouring creativity into the community, which is huge and important. Not just for new people or OG Regent Park residents, but for the kids in the community. Being able to see creativity, right? Being able to know that I can do this, and if I paint at home, I'm creative, that I can actually make a career out of this, right? And I think it's important for kids to know that they can do whatever they put their mind to, one. Two, that there's other things out there that they can do, and not just be, narrow-minded in one specific, avenue to go down. And also see that sometimes all you need is an opportunity, right? To just spark something in somebody, or even in yourself, and fly and run with it. So I love the community. I love Regent Park, and I'm proud to call myself a Regent Park resident. And knowing that my roots originally started here, even though I was transplanted to Africa and brought back, my story originally started in Regent Park. And I hope that I can continue that story with my own kids moving forward, and be an impactful part of the community, not just in my art, but in other aspects. Like Kenya was one of the longest paintings I've ever done. Kenya took me about 9 to 10 days to complete, 90 to 100 hours. One session took me literally 4 hours, just sitting down without moving, just continuously going at it, because there's such intricate detail in the zebra stripes on her clothing. So the whole idea with Kenya is I wanted to have one specific piece that really captured the Africanness and my African culture. Kenya has the African zebra print dress, but Kenya is actually not necessarily a real person. She's actually a creation of mine based on 2 different people that I kind of fixed and molded together in my own way, painted together in my own way. And I really wanted to just kind of show the regalness in that look. And that dress is just outstanding. It's an African designer that actually is from his collection. And I've always wanted to capture his work in some way, shape, or form, and this just worked out perfectly. Kenya is actually, the face is kind of molded, also painted with my sister in mind. So there's a little bit of my sister in there. And interesting enough, she actually used it for her avatar on Instagram the moment I released the collection. And I was like, oh, you like that one? And she's like, yeah, it looks a little bit like me. I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of you in there. That's right. So I like those as an experimental piece. It was the first time I was really mashing in features from 2 different people into one, and I've never done that before. So it was, for me, artistically and creatively, it was a huge leap. Because it's also a very large painting. I mean, it's the same size as this. So if you mess up, that's it. You got to paint it over and start all over again. So I'm very proud of that. After we moved in, I discovered this talent of being able to create paint. And then I ran with it. And I remember my neighbor, same neighbor I met in Regent Park. He used to own one of the townhouses on One Park Place. John McCubbin, and I walked by, and John is an older guy, almost my father's age. So John's more like a father figure. He's a Bay Street guy, ex-Bay Street guy. So he's very much a motivational speaker. So he's like, this art thing, you should do it full time. You should go ahead, just go ahead. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And listen, if it doesn't work, you can go back into the job force, right? And I was like, okay, give me a plan. And he kind of just gave me this idea of what I could do. And he says, you know what, one day, just walk into Daniel Spectrum and see who you can speak to. Just take that leap. And I said, okay, no problem. And I literally walked into Daniel Spectrum, and the day I was walking in, a lady was walking out, and she said, you're Benny, right? And I was like, yeah, we need to speak to you because you're here in the hallway galleries. And I was like, okay. When everything is just fitting together, it's almost like that feeling every time you get a green light. That was the feeling. It's like, wow, okay, yes, I'm ready. I have work. I already painted the whole collection. It was like I could add more to it. And within 6 months, we put a show together. And it was my second show ever and we did a Daniel Spectrum. That day I met Mitchell Cohen, the CEO of Daniels. I met Tim Jones, the former CEO of Artscape. I met all these different people, but these were the key people that I've built relationships with over time and have propelled my career. Because I have a conversation with John too, and I remember he said to me, and I call these my Regent Park conversations, right? These are conversations with people within the community that help you as an individual. I mean, he didn't need to do anything. He didn't need to say a word to me. He didn't need to be my friend, right? And we talk about in Toronto, no one really, do you really know your neighbor? Do you really want to be friends with your neighbor? No, not really, but the Regent Park is a little bit different. I think that there's a vibe, there's a feel. People are more courteous to each other. We almost are really trying to build and form a real nice community. And I think you can see that across Toronto, of course. But because I live in Regent Park, I see it more in my community, right? And I remember he said to me, he says, what if you were not here today, what will be your impact? And I said, that's a very good question. And he said, think about it, your work, the work you've created, whatever your collection is right now, that work will be your impact, right? So think about what more you can do, that you can live for generations to come, to look at the impact you had in the way that Black women and young Black girls see themselves represented, right? Representation is huge. And I remember, I was like, this is almost a 60-year-old white man telling me that representation matters, right? And I'm like, but he's so right? It is so important and so true. And I've never forgotten that. And that, all these different things and these conversations, people I met, have all contributed to my journey and my work and what I do. Someone once called me a Regent Park legend, and I said, let's not do that. I'll just call myself a Regent Park native, right? But I don't think legend is the right description. Because also I wasn't born in Regent Park. Sure, my family is from here, and I've lived here for a long time now, but legend I think was a little bit of a stretch. I understood what he was trying to convey, and I appreciate that, but I was like, no, trust me, there are more, of course, legendary people in the community who are still here, who are still doing really great things for the community in terms of making this a safe, friendly environment to live in and to raise a family, right? So yeah, I love seeing the impact that these people are making in the community.